I'm sorry I did that to us, man. Oh.
No, please.
Joe Rogan has never been one to shy away from controversy, but this episode hit different. Gone were the laughs and usual lighthearted banter. Instead, Rogan opened the show with a serious expression and a quiet voice. He leaned over the table, tapped a folder stuffed with notes and documents, and said, "This one's tough to talk about." What followed was a deep dive into a side of the entertainment industry that many would rather ignore, especially when it involved the relationship between a teenage Justin Bieber and music mogul Sean Diddy Combs.
What's going to happen, though, you think?
Well, Diddy's going to be in jail for the rest of his life. I think he's probably going to get
Think he's
hit up.
insane, though?
I don't know. I don't even think it matters.
But then it's just another
There's
Epstein.
murder
It's another
cases.
Ghislaine Maxwell, where
there's
somebody gets
murder
indicted and
cases.
nobody else. Indicted for trafficking kids to
Right.
no
to,
one.
to no one.
I got my MTV out. Savage! I'm a savage! Oh! I'm a savage! Whatever I want, I'm going to get! Whatever I want, I have to get!
Everybody hung with Diddy. That's the other tricky
Yeah,
thing. Like, Diddy
that
hung
is
out
the
with
thing.
everybody. And I've spoken to a bunch of people who are like, yo, great dude, like, always there for you, never asked for a single thing.
Till 1 a.m.
And then
Then
freak off
everybody
begins.
says, get out of the house. It's just amazing how many people on the Diddy party list that are supporting Kamala. Too.
Yeah, seriously, it's like insane.
Publicly, openly, like
Yeah.
all in.
Yes.
It's-
It's like J-Lo was like his ex-girlfriend. and it's like now deciding she's like warning people against Trump. I'm
Is he
like,
the
well, wait a
Babylon
second.
Bee?
So how many people did she warn against Diddy?
Right.
Oh, 0. Okay.
Right.
Well, maybe we shouldn't trust her opinion.
P. Diddy party. This is what happens to the white man.
It's so unfortunate.
You gotta pull back though, so they can see. That's crazy. Matt, move out the way. You're still alive. Look at that. Look. Would you?
Look at the drink on his head.
And that's James from Simeon Mobile Disco. He is a actual DJs aren't supposed to pass out, but when they come to one of my parties, this is what happens to them.
And then there's also like people that are elites, and that's their thing. Like their thing is to do something that is horrible, and it's not available to other people. So it's like, I think there's like a sickness that people have when they have power, like extreme power, and then what else can I do? What else can I do? What else is what else is taboo? What else is forbidden? The thing is, like, we're getting the rumors from the internet, and the internet thinks that the Taliban took out that bridge in Baltimore. So it's like, who fucking knows? Who knows what's real?
That's what Diddy's lawyers, I think, said. It was like that. These are just trumped up charges. Not trumped up. I don't think they said that, but like bullshit charges.
Dude, when Homeland Security invades your house,
You got problems.
with dudes with fucking guns and body armor.
Joe began by showing a long-forgotten interview clip of Diddy talking about spending time with Bieber during his early career. In the video, Diddy grins as he mentions a 48-hour hangout with the then 15-year-old singer. While Diddy's words might have seemed harmless to some at the time, Joe now saw them in a different light. "You look at that clip with fresh eyes," he said, "and suddenly it's not mentorship. It's something far more disturbing." He questioned why a grown man would be spending unsupervised time with a teenager and hinted that the secrecy around it raised serious concerns.
So check this out, yo. Justin, you ever seen the movie 48 Hours? Right now, he's having 48 hours with Diddy, him and his boy. They're having the times of their lives, like, where we hanging out and what we doing. We can't really disclose, but it's definitely a 15-year-old's dream. I have been given custody of him. He signed to Usher.
I'm signed to Usher.
I had legal guardianship of Usher when he did his first album. I did Usher's first album. I don't have legal guardianship of him, but for the next 48 hours, he's with me. So
they wouldn't let him. Actually, someone made reference to the fact that Diddy trying to get at Bieber the way he was trying to get at Bieber was looking a little predatory. And then Usher came in and discovered it and managed him and got custody of him and promised to look after him. And then he sent him to the diddler. Does that sound like a good guy?
It's horrible. It's horrible.
Does that sound like a good guy? Now that we know what Diddy's really like. What kind of fucking asshole do you gotta be to take another boy, another talented boy, and put him in your place so it ain't gotta be you no more? Because that's what pedophiles do. They get victims, and then once they get to a certain age and they get too old for them to enjoy them, they send them out to go get other young kids. Now, if Usher is a procurer, and if Usher knew what was going to happen to any of those young children that he took to the Flavor Freak off, is he a good guy? Especially considering what happened to him, especially considering that he sat Howard Stern, and Howard Stern said, would you send your kids to Puffy's Flavor Camp? And his immediate response was, hell no! So it's good enough for everybody else's kids, but it's not good enough for yours.
You know, Justin Bieber had a post the other day on his Instagram talking about all the drugs that he did when he was younger and how much it f***ed him up. And now he's got a relationship with the Lord, and he's got, you know, he's married, and he's trying to be a normal person.
Yeah.
But he's struggling with the fact that he was insanely famous when he was a kid.
You know, Diddy bought his son a Bentley. Maybe, you know, he could buy you one also while you're out.
Got me a Lamborghini.
Oh, well, that's nice.
I haven't gotten it yet, though.
Yeah, I know. When is that coming, that Lamborghini? We talked about this last
He
time.
had the Lamborghini for a day or two, and he had access to the house, and he knows better than to be talking about the things that he does with Big Brother Puff on national television. What's up, man? You good?
I'm good. How are you?
All right, young brother, everything's good?
Everything's
Selling
great.
out arenas and everything?
Yeah.
Starting to act different, huh? You ain't been calling me and hanging out the way we used to hang out.
Well, I mean, you try to get in contact with me, you know, through all my, partners and whatnot.
Mm-hmm.
But you never really got my number, so.
Right.
My
Okay.
number?
Yeah.
I'm gonna tell you my number.
Yeah.
It's 5.
The deeper Joe went, the darker it got. He revealed travel documents, appearance schedules, and handwritten notes allegedly from Bieber himself. One scribbled message read, "Please let me sleep. I'm too tired. I can't keep going like this." Joe didn't sensationalize it. He simply held the paper up, laid it on the table, and said, "That's not the voice of an artist chasing success. That's the voice of a kid trying to hold on." The podcast studio, usually filled with energy, was silent. Even the production crew behind the scenes reportedly paused to process the weight of the moment. What raised even more eyebrows was Joe's breakdown of how Bieber ended up under Diddy's watch. The transition was informal, and there were no standard contracts or proper documentation involved. Joe explained how Usher, Bieber's first mentor, had initially been guiding the young artist, but at some point, Diddy was given access that, according to Rogan, was never clearly regulated or approved by any legal authority. "It's like he was passed along," Joe said. And that should never happen to a teenager in any industry, let alone the entertainment world. Joe then revealed a report from a licensed therapist who had evaluated Justin Bieber's mental state during those early years. The report described the teen as emotionally shut down, overwhelmed, and battling chronic anxiety. Sharing on social media about his struggles, anxiety, and pressure, Joe linked these present-day admissions to the evidence he had in hand. In perhaps the most unsettling portion of the show, Joe described surveillance footage that had been reviewed by investigators. It showed Justin, guitar in hand, walking a hallway late at night, flanked by adults. No smiles, no excitement, just a young boy with his head down. On a board in the background were phrases like immersion weekend, no phones, and vocal drills all day. "That's not coaching," Joe said. "That's conditioning." The aftermath of Joe's podcast was immediate. Social media exploded with reactions. Viewers expressed outrage, disbelief, and sadness. By the next morning, multiple companies had issued quiet statements or pulled content involving Diddy from their platforms. A clothing brand suspended a campaign. A music platform paused its curated Diddy playlist. The snowball had started rolling and was Alwario, and it wasn't stopping. But Rogan didn't focus on canceling. He focused on changing. He closed the episode with a personal promise. Every dollar made from the podcast would be donated to organizations supporting young artists and youth mental health. As the episode came to a close, Joe looked straight into the camera. "If you were in the room and you stayed quiet, you're part of the problem. We've glamorized fame too long without asking who's paying the price for it." That final message struck a chord, because this time, It wasn't just a podcast, it was a reckoning.